Hello and welcome to this special edition of Global Nashville with Karl Dean. I'm Tennessee World Affairs Council President Patrick Ryan. Today we turn attention to an interesting and entertaining aspect of Nashville that highlights its place as a global city. Our professional sports teams, hockey, football, and soccer, bring athletes to our city from around the world. They add to the global texture of Nashville, and we are pleased to welcome them. Today we'll be talking with Mattias Ekholm, who was drafted by the Nashville Predators in the 2009 NHL entry draft. And he broke into the NHL for several games over the 2011 to 2013 seasons, and then became a regular on the Predators roster since the 2013-2014 season. Mattias is a seasoned defenseman for the Preds and wears the alternate Captain A on his jersey. Mattias was born in Borlange, Sweden, and came up through Swedish hockey before jumping to the NHL and the Nashville Predators. Today, we'll talk with Mattias about his background and experiences as a professional international athlete and his perspectives on his new home of Nashville. And there might be some talk about hockey. Mayor Dean.
Thank you, Pat. And Mattias, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So you are in Edmonton as right now?
Yeah. It's a kind of a blizzard outside here. I'm sitting right in my hotel room and watching out. So it's kind of like back home.
Yeah. So you played Seattle last night and the Predators won.
Yeah. Big win for us.
You had a good game.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And then flew into, I guess you got into Edmonton late last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, Edmonton, I don't know if you know this, but Edmonton is actually one of Nashville's sister cities. We have a special relationship with Edmonton. I've been there a couple times. It's an interesting place. It reminds me a little bit of Nashville because it's on a river and it's kind of a growing, dynamic city.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it has colder weather than we have in Nashville.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad this time. But I remember last year we were here and we use Celsius, and so it was like minus 32, and it was on the news. I had them on, and it said it was the coldest place on earth at that time. So it could be cold here, that's for sure. Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you first is just if you could tell us, obviously you play for the Predators and are here in Nashville, but how did that happen? I mean, you grew up in Sweden, and what age did you become interested in hockey? I'm in hockey, I guess, community. I'm old now. I'm 30, 31, be 32 soon, and it's been a while. But as I remember it, I think I started skating around 4 or 5 just for fun. In Sweden, it's a lot easier than it is in Nashville, just with the weather. We're more like Edmonton, where you can just go outside and there will be ice sheets outside because it's so cold. But just started to kind of learn the skating process of everything, and then I think it was 7. I was getting into organized. Again, it's not, you can't really call it hockey. It's more playing on ice, but it's more in a group and with a coach. So started with that, and then just went through the Swedish, I guess, program of hockey, and then went through the youth of doing it from 7 years old till 15. When you're 15, you get to go to like a college kind of thing where you actually kind of play hockey on school time for 3 years. Did that, and from that, I was just, it was kind of what I was destined to be, and was the only thing I really had. I never really had a line of work or anything outside of hockey. It's just been hockey, and it's been a long ride. It's been through the junior systems of Sweden to men's team, both the second league, the first league, went over here, played in the minors 1 year in Milwaukee, and now it's, believe it or not, 10 years in Nashville. So it's been a long ride, but it's been an awesome ride. It's been so much fun, and I've been so blessed to call a great city like Nashville home for so long time. Yeah. So you've been here for about 10 years, and actually probably seen a lot of changes in Nashville since you've been here.
Yeah, it's been crazy, to be honest with you. So I think if you can count like 13, 14 years, because we were here for the summer camps, and when I first got here, I mean, it was not only the city itself, but all the buildings, all the structures, how much people there's here now compared to before, and how much stuff there's going on, and it's restaurants, everything. It's just exploded in my mind, and it's been awesome to watch, and it's been awesome for me to kind of
I mean, I came over as a 20-year-old, something like that. Single, had no I guess obligations to anything, and now growing up with the city, and now I got 2 kids, and I got all the responsibilities in the world. So it's been cool to watch.
And when you were playing in Sweden as a young man, as a teenager, is it the goal? Is it to get to the United States or to Canada and play in the NHL, or what? Where does that fit into the priorities of a hockey player in Europe?
Both yes and no, I would say. I think at the time, what's hard about, I guess, idolizing US and the NHL and everything is like you don't really watch it too much because right now we played last night at 4 a.m. at home, and if a game is at 7 in Nashville, it's at 2 a.m. in Sweden. So it's hard to watch those games. You kind of know that the NHL is over there somewhere, but when you play at home, you're kind of just trying to make it to the biggest stage at home and then take what's coming from there, kind of thing. But I guess when I got up and I got in the men's league, the biggest league in Sweden, and doing well, that's when I kind of was like, all right, well, I can do this. I probably can go to at least try my wings in the US one day. And I guess that happened. So I think a little bit of both. I think just because of the time difference, it makes it hard to make NHL really, really big in Sweden. But for sure, as the journey got along, for the more and the closer I got, and the higher up I got in Sweden, the more I start looking at it.
Do you have any nervousness about leaving Sweden and moving to the US?
Yeah, that was hard, actually. I mean, I think still today I love Sweden, and whenever I'm retired, I'm most likely going to go home. We might have some sort of home in Nashville too, that like to go back and forth, because I've been living there a third of my life, so it's for sure my second home. But I mean, I'm leaving friends, leaving family. I in Sweden too. Sweden's a really tall country, but I always just lived. The teams I played for was like an hour and a half or 2 from where I'm growing up. So, and I had all my buddies from really young age, and to go over to US and be so far away was tough to start. But I guess it's something you have to live with. And the good part about hockey is wherever you go, you're always going to have 22 guys on your team that's going to be your friends, and you always have them. So it's good that way. That's it in a team sport, in a team setting, that you're not alone. That's for sure. So it's hard, and I missed it a lot. But over the years, it's gone away pretty much. Now I feel like Nashville's almost home.
Right, and it's interesting you mentioned the team in the. With the hockey teams in the U.S., the NHL teams, they're incredibly diverse in terms of the nationalities of the members of the team. I mean, obviously there are U.S. citizens, Canadians, lots of Scandinavian people, and others. How does that all work and come together in terms of languages, different cultures? Do people fit together well, or does it take some time?
That's funny. Like I just take our group this year, for example. We have Czech guys, as you said. We have Finns, we have Swedes, we have Canadians. So we have, all sorts of guys. And when you look at a team that's doing well, obviously you need players that can play hockey well. But for our team this year, I think the biggest thing has been like the camaraderie. The group of guys are just, I don't know. I can't tell you why it's like that, but I feel like the group fits well together, and we have a lot of fun together doing it. I don't think if you look at our roster it looks like, oh my God, they should be really, really good because they have so much skill, whatever. I think we just work hard for each other. I think we have fun doing it. And that goes a long way when you play 82 games. Like 82 games is a grind of a season. It's a long season. It's not, look at football. I mean, they went to, I think 18 games this year or something like that. And every game matters so much. For us, it's more of like keeping that level high, or at least decently high, for as many nights as you can, and try to win as many nights as you can, even though you maybe aren't on top of your game. So I think it's an interesting dynamic how it just sometimes works, because I've been on opposite teams too, where it's like the dynamic doesn't really work and nobody's really having that much fun. But that's why I'm trying to enjoy this year, because it's been a lot of fun. We've been playing really well, and maybe nobody, if you ask a lot of, I guess, experts in front of in the season,
they didn't think we were going to do much at all. So I think it's a huge factor. I can't tell you the recipe why it's like that, but for some reason our group really works. And again, we have nationalities of at least 5 countries, if not more. So I again, if I had the recipe for it, I'd try to do it every year. But for this year, it's been really working.
And do most of the players speak English? Is that sort of the language that everybody uses, or is there multiple languages being used in the locker room?
Yeah, it's good because we have guys that stand up. So I have a Swedish buddy on my team, which is Philip, which is we've been together for almost the whole 10 years. And if we start, sometimes you just fall into it and it's easier to talk your native language. But if I do, I know I've played with a lot of guys for a long time, so they just right up to stand up and be like English. So it's good because I mean, it should be English. It should be everybody can be in a conversation and nobody should be excluded. So I think that's something that we really put our emphasis on so that everybody can feel included and then everybody can be part of the conversations and the fun.
Is there any disappointment, or what's your thoughts about when the sort of the rules changed about the Olympics in terms of the NHL participation by players? Is that any problems?
Yeah,
there?
It's tough. It's not fun. It's just, I mean, I get the whole world is in a position where it's just tough with COVID, and it's just, it is what it is, and we got to get through this. So I understand it, but the thing that kind of blows me a little bit is that I'm born 90, and for our generation kind of thing, if you weren't like we've gotten 2 Olympics now, as NHL players going, and I would have loved to at least do it one time just to see it. Everybody says how great the Olympics is, and I've just never gotten to experience it. I don't know if I would have been on this year. It would have been a tight squeeze, but maybe. And I think 4 years ago I was maybe more of a chance. So, but still, it's not fun because you know that those are the kind of opportunities you only get every 4 years, and it's to represent your country too is special. It's really special. I remember growing up and there was Olympics 06 in Torino when Sweden won it, and like we were watching the final and they were literally the heroes of Sweden. That would have been so cool just to do it. I've been in world championships doing it for Sweden, but never been able to. The cool thing about Olympics is that it is best on best. Like it's the best players on every team, and that's not usually the case in world championships. So hopefully there'll be back to participation here, and I don't know when the next one is in 4 years, but that was kind of a dagger. It's not fun, and again, I understand the situation. I understand that it's hard, and it probably wouldn't have been the same experience as a regular Olympics, but it's always tough when you have the chance to go to do something that cool, and it just kind of doesn't happen for various reasons.
Right. Do you spend your summers in Nashville?
We usually go home, actually. As I said, I have 2 kids and a wife, and we love Sweden. We love Nashville, but we love Sweden too. So it's kind of like we can only go back for 2 or 3 months, depending on playoffs. So it's not that long. So we usually go home, and we have kids, and the in-laws and the grandparents want to see the kids. So it's usually a busy summer, but we like to go back.
Yeah. I would think Nashville would be a lot warmer than
yeah.
A little rough that way. What's your sense of Nashville? And you talked about its growth since you've been here, and it really has grown a lot during that time period. In my mind, Nashville has become a much more of an international city, much more diverse city. I mean, have you seen that is it a more interesting city to you than when you first got here?
Yeah, big time. I think you just see the developments going around town too, and with Broadway, the way it's going now with 15 Broadway, it's been awesome to see. And not that I spend, as a dad of 2, I don't spend very many nights on Broadway, but I just can tell from, in Sweden, you hear more people that can come up and say, hey, I've been to Nashville, or hey, I've heard about Nashville, how great it is, and how much. Usually it's the music I'm gonna give that. It's the Music City, obviously, but for other things too. Now we got the soccer team and everything, so it's been really cool to see how it's grown up and not grown up, but grown the city and with our hockey team too. I feel like when I first got here 10 years ago, we didn't sell out every game, or we didn't have the, I guess, atmosphere at our games that we do now. It's kind of been, especially during that final, the playoff run in 2017, like it felt like every year we took a step when it came to how loud the building was, how much fans was at the building, how much, it was so much. Yeah. And now fans are great. Like it's a hockey town to me. I mean, it's an awesome place to play, and the atmosphere in the rink is awesome every night. And yeah, it's been so cool coming in, and it's being like okay, and then see it grow, and then as a team grew too, because we had, limited success before that, and then we got that playoff run, and it was kind of like an explosion. So from my perspective, it's been awesome to see the fans and just the city kind of grow with the team.
Right. Pat, you have some questions that you'd like to pose? You're on mute. Pat, there you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Karl. Thanks, Mattias, for taking time today. We certainly appreciate hearing your story and your observations about Nashville. I'm curious about the view among hockey players of Nashville as a hockey town. And you mentioned the fan base has grown and it's gotten more exciting. But I can recall naysayers among commentators doubting that Nashville could be a hockey town, and at one point the city almost lost the team. What do players think about the southern cities as being good places for hockey growth?
I think it's changed a lot. I remember, I'm going to say 6-7 years ago, we had a tough time getting free agents to come to Nashville because I don't know, for various reasons, they didn't like it here, or it wasn't as good of an atmosphere, or it wasn't a cool place to play. But I guess these days people love to come here, and people kind of want to take less money to come here, which is awesome. And that speaks of how cool the city's been to play in, how easy it is and I say easy in the regard of there's basically no traffic. It's easy to get in and out of the city. There's awesome atmosphere at the rink. These things that makes it easy for us to kind of live our life. And it's, I live 15 minutes from Bridgestone, and it's 15 minutes to the airport. It's just a really convenient city to be in as a hockey player, and then to have the fan base and the atmosphere on top of that. I think it's something that has become really attractive for other players when they choose teams. I think Nashville has gone up that list a lot the last, as we said, 5-10 years I've been here.
Yeah, what sorts of things around Nashville are of interest to you and the other players, especially those who come from abroad? Besides, I think the honky tonks probably is a common denominator.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time I have my buddies over, that they come over, and it's the funny thing is, it's like they go to Broadway, they go to the hockey games, they want to go to a football game, or for me as the dad of two, usually my regular life just involves going to Green Hills Park with my kids, or running around to the school, or kind of just those kind of things. So it's different. Sure. It's obviously different, but I feel like that's what's so great about Nashville. It's like, if you want to go downtown and have a fancy date night or a fancy dinner, you can do that. But if you want to go to a park and feel like you're in the middle of just the calmest, nicest neighborhood, you can do that as well. And it's not that far out. So I love that kind of mix in between the two. And that's something that we as a family for sure shares a lot.
Karl?
That's all I've got. But Mattias, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to do this. I know, I guess you're an hour behind us.
Yeah.
And I know you had a late night, but we certainly appreciate you making time on this trip to talk with us, and wish you and your teammates the best. I'm a longtime fan. Pat is a fanatic Predator fan. And so we're all with you. And I do think I think Nashville is a hockey city now. The energy is unbelievable. And
Yeah.
there was at the All-Star game or the Stanley Cup games, downtown was just totally alive and electric.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think the organization has done a great job promoting hockey here, and the fan experience when you go to Bridgestone, everything is just first class. So thanks to the Nashville Predators organization and to players like yourself who come here and find Nashville to be a great place to spend time and entertain all us hockey fanatics.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I was just speaking my mind, so that was easy and easy enough.
Good.
Great.
Well, enjoy our sister city of Edmonton.
Awesome. Yeah, I will. I'll get on the blizzard here in a second. So
All right.
great.
Thank
All
you.
right.
You guys have a great day.
This has been Global Nashville with Karl Dean. We've been talking with Nashville Predator Mattias Ekholm about his experiences coming up in international hockey and his 10 years here in Nashville. Thanks, Mattias. Thanks, Mayor Dean, and everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.